Hi everyone, welcome back to Ilum Sabers. Today's video is one I've been looking forward to for a long time, and I'm excited to finally get around to it. This is the install video and overview for my Denis Lukyanov Creepy Uncle. Now this is a Gen 3, I believe. He recently came out with the 4th run of these hilts, which he's renamed the V2 because it's a completely different design. I and some others felt like this design is more faithful to what you see on screen, whereas the new design is more faithful to what you see on the Disney 100 exhibit. And whether or not those are the exact same hilt is the matter of some debate among the community, but by and large, I think that this is a better representation of what you actually see in the screen in Luke's CGI mechanical hand. So this hilt was from a run in, I believe, 2021-ish. I could be a little bit off with the year there. But essentially, it's Luke's hilt from The Last Jedi, as we see it in the flashbacks that he, where he's holding it, where he goes into Ben Solo's room. So I've gone over this hilt before in previous videos, just going over the dimensions of it and comparing it to the Mom, comparing it to some of the other ROTJ heroes that I have. And I'm not going to really be doing that as much in this video. This is going to be more of a focus on this hilt, but just a brief overview of some of the differences if you're not familiar. The orientation of the tri-ring is different. So you've got it in this orientation that's not quite perpendicular, maybe a 45-degree angle or so to the control box. You've got a smaller control box with larger arrows, no arrow plate. You've got thick, even rings on the grip section. You've got a much thinner neck, and then you've got a longer emitter. You also have this plate here with these holes in it, very reminiscent of the Ben Kenobi saber from the original trilogy. And then overall, this hilt is just much thinner than the ROTJ hero. So just getting a good look at that. This does come clean if you buy it new, or if you buy it from someone who hasn't altered it. This has been weathered a little bit, not by me, but there is some, let's see if I can kind of show in some of the cracks here. There's a little bit of dirtying. Here's some by the tri-ring. Here's a little bit. You can kind of see it until I'm pointing it directly at the camera, and the light kind of makes it look a little cleaner, but you can see it here. So just a little bit of a light black wash in some of the crevices and things like that. In addition, it has been, it's got a bit of a sort of rougher finish. So it's been brushed a little bit, which is accurate to the hilt in the film. It's still pretty shiny overall, but the hilt in the film actually does have a bit of a brushed finish around here, and then a shinier pommel and emitter. In addition, the control box rails and the neck of this hilt have been chemically weathered, or chemically aged and weathered with, I believe it's probably brass black or something like that. I didn't do it myself, but that's what it looks like to me. Because this is brass, so it's normally kind of a brighter, kind of light gold hue, kind of like the clamp card here. But you'll notice that there's a difference between this, and that's just from the weathering. And I really like that. That's actually one of the reasons why this hilt stood out to me, is because a lot of them that were being sold at the time that I was looking at buying one were secondhand, and most of them were not weathered, didn't have the neck weathered. And that was really important to me because in the screen grabs you can see online of that hilt in that flashback, the neck is darker. So I didn't want a bright neck. So I'm going to go over the install a little bit. I did install this myself. I was actually looking for a chassis a few months back, and my good pal Derek Galanis had a chassis he had been working on, and then he also went ahead and did the chassis for the new Creepy Uncle as well. So if you bought one of those, definitely check out his chassis. He does great work. So the pommel unscrews here at the pommel cap, and there's actually a static pommel cap too. You'll see this one has a slight ring on the outside. That's for the sound venting, but it unscrews there, and this is where it pulls out. You can see you've got your battery, and your speaker down in there. Give me a second here and I'll pull that out. Here's the speaker, here's the battery, and then here's the connector. So this is just for the speaker and the battery. One of the things Derek wanted to do was make sure that the kill switch was actually in the upper section. That way you didn't have it in the bottom section, which previous designs have had. It's better to have it up by the in the grip section so that you can actually have the you don't want to have all of the power that's going to the blade running through the kill switch. The kill switches aren't rated for quite that much power, particularly if you're using a bit of a more high power blade style. Most of the time it's fine, you can do it, but it's certainly not the best option. So the battery and the speaker are down here, and then if you remove the upper section of the hilt, you can kind of see where the main guts are. So this is the chassis. He really did a great job with this. I really love the design. It's just enough reminiscent of like old school like OT designs, but it also really reminds me of a lot of the designs with the circles and the lines that are on here. It reminds me a lot of Jedi Fallen Order, which I love. Here's the Profi board. This is a V3. SD card is right there, of course, with good access. I've got a little piece of tape on it just to be able to grab it a little easier. And then there is the kill switch. So the power to the blade does not go through the kill switch. The kill switch only gets the power that goes to the Profi board itself. And then here is the flat PCB, which then, of course, connects up inside of the grip section. You've got pins inside of there. And those pins, of course, then go up here to the pins in the emitter. So without further ado, I'm going to fire it up and kind of give you a bit of a preview of what it looks like. Got a lot of blinkies on this one.
What's special about you?
Okay, so the first font on here is the Luke Last Jedi font. This font I really am fond of. I just set it up to be like the cave scene, and I'll show you kind of the fonts here in a minute. Of course, you've got the blinkies, the red and green arrows. This is the crystal chamber, and I really like that chamber because the crystal's hidden, so it kind of lets your mind fill in the gaps as far as like what's going on in there, which I really like. And then you've got this section underneath with some more blinkies. I have it set up to just run back and forth. And then when it's activated, then it goes into more of a running motion to kind of simulate like a circular, I imagine there's kind of a circular chamber inside of there that supplies power to the crystal. So I imagine that there's something in here just kind of running in a circle power-wise, or maybe back and forth. Of course, you've got the green light on the Profi, which looks really cool with the theme of the saber, which of course is green for Luke. Super loud because of the way that this is set up. Because this emitter, the pommel cap here cups the bottom of the chassis, there's like no sound escaping up through here, so it's all just funneled out here. Put this back on, and at a certain point the emitter will light up. There it is. So this was a really fun install to do. I really appreciate Derek for being present for all of the questions I asked. I had a bunch of questions about how he set it up, how he intended things to, fit in place. And then I had a couple issues, a couple times where I had components kind of crap out on me, and I had to replace them, figure out where the problem was, and do a little troubleshooting, which I never love doing on an install, especially once you've got things glued in place and stuff like that, which is why I always recommend, especially if you're starting out with installs, but even for the seasoned installers, I always recommend like a test rig. This is the one I have. It's pretty ugly. Just got a Profi 2.2 on there, and then a bunch of alligator clips that I just, I wire up components that I'm not sure about, and I'll connect them in there and just make sure it works, because I know that that thing works. But I would always recommend that. Something else I want to kind of show off is a special blade style that I've done for this hilt. So I guess this would be a good time to run through some of the fonts. So the cave scene is the one we just did, and then you're going to hear these go kind of in chronological order.
I am Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight and friend to Captain Solo.
So this is a little later in the film when he's confronting Jabba, and the sound, or the soundtrack here is the Sarlacc pit music.
I can't kill my own father.
And of course all these are going to have the quotes from the section of the movie that they're from, which is part of why I split it up into quite a few, because there are a lot of quotes from that film. But this will have the conversation between Ben and Luke.
I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Hold on, I'm actually going to go back one.
I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate.
So this I really like, because this is the confrontation, of course, between Luke and Vader before Vader turns Luke over to the Emperor. And there is a Prion that was provided by my friend Mo.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
I love that Prion, and it was one that I was having trouble finding anywhere.
Never. I'll never turn to the dark side. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is the final one from that film, and the song on this is the Ewok Celebration, which is a really great piece of music.
A choice to be better.
This is a font that I put together. I believe the base font is Kyberphonic still, or maybe it's, I think it is either Kyberphonic or Ksith. I can't remember, but I took that font and then I added a bunch of quotes from Battlefront 2, the newer Battlefront 2. And I really just liked how Luke came across in that game. I thought that the story of that game really nailed his character, so I got that on there.
Are you a Jedi? I am.
This is Ksith's rescue.
Training Grogu.
This is Wansith's baby trainer from the Book of Boba Fett.
Dark Empire.
This is what I'm really excited about. So I've got a Dark Empire font from Ronin Sabers, and it's got a whole bunch of quotes from Luke, Palpatine, maybe a couple from some other characters, I'm not sure, but it's really cool because, of course, Dark Empire is a comic book. I have it on my shelf over there, and to have a lot of those lines brought together, or brought to life, as if the characters were actually saying them, like as if Mark Hamill was really saying them, really cool. See if I can do a couple of them.
I found strange clues in the palace. I have to stay here, Leia. But you, Han, Chewie, Lando should leave this place at once.
Han, you don't understand. Someone or something is using the dark side of the Force with unbelievable power.
So this is really cool. And then something that I have built into this font.
My father's destiny is my own.
Is it can change color.
I'm saying that I want you to let go of your anger before it destroys.
My father's Dark Empire.
So starts out, Crystal is green, Blade is green, and I'll show that in a minute as well. But if you're familiar with the story of Dark Empire, you know kind of what happens. If you're not, consider this a fair warning. It's been out for like 30 years or whatever. Luke briefly turns to the dark side as a ploy mostly. He finds Palpatine resurrected, right? Clone Palpatine resurrected after, like 10 years after Return of the Jedi. Palpatine's like, you're not powerful to beat me on your own without the dark side. And Luke's like, okay. So he like starts learning these dark side powers as an attempt to like subvert Palpatine, and like kind of also Palpatine grants him like command in the Imperial military. So he's like feeding information back to the rebels and like that kind of thing. But at a point it kind of gets on top of him, and he's not really himself. And he does it at one point wield a red lightsaber, so I wanted to kind of have that built into this font. See if I can show that. So color change direct is part of the new OS. It's been part of it for a while actually. But you hold aux and press power. There we go. I don't know why I wasn't doing it at first.
My father's destiny is my own. Dark Empire.
Okay. So I've got it changed to red. I don't know why it's not doing the right thing, actually.
My father's destiny is my own.
Okay, so here it's red already. This is the next font. Oh, it's because of the way that I'm holding it, I believe. If I hold it... it's hard to do this and show the camera at the same time. If I hold it sideways... Here we go. There we go. It's a little bit difficult with the 2-button setup, especially with the buttons being like right next to each other and they're kind of on a lever. But if you hold this and then press this one, it makes a little noise and goes back and forth. And then let's see if we can get the
Dark Empire.
Other one to act right. Okay. There we go. So back to green. And then, so we're on the light side here, and then Luke turns to the dark side. And then we're back to green. And that will control the main blade as well. So that'll all change at the same time. Although I suppose with the grip on there, you wouldn't ever see the blade and the crystal at the same time.
My father's destiny is my own.
Okay, so this one is the other one I was showing a minute ago. The default on this is red, just to kind of follow, canonically speaking, in the timeline, but it also will change green to red depending on how you want to do it. Because at the end of the font, Leia redeems Luke.
I'm saying that I want you to let go of your anger before it destroys you.
This is from Jedi Knight 2, the video game. You play as Kyle Katarn, and Luke has a bunch of appearances in that game, so I took a lot of quotes from that and put them again in, I think it's Kyberphonic's Return.
Kyle, I've been expecting you. You've come for your lightsaber. After all these years?
And so that'll just run through the course of the story there. And then after this, we'll cycle back through to the very first font. I have it set so that the first font is actually the last font chronologically, but it should be the Last Jedi font.
It's time for the Jedi to end.
And I believe that is Grumpy Uncle from Kyberphonic. Grumpy Uncle font and the Creepy Uncle hilt. So without too much more, I'm going to go ahead and throw the top on here. And I will put a blade in and be right back. All right, so I've got a blade in and the hilt is ready to go. The blinkies are on standby mode. Before I get started here, you'll have to forgive me in advance. I don't have one of the new Quantum blades from Saber Bay or from Tritium or any of the ones that people are talking about right now. So the blade will just be regular blinding bright as opposed to exceedingly super blindingly bright. I'm on the Dark Empire font right now. Got blasters, Flash, of course, and then lightning block. And then this is the Kyber bleeding effect that I am using the color change direct for. So I kind of like that, the way it kind of fizzles into a red, as opposed to in the Acolyte it kind of goes up in chunks. But I really like the kind of fizzling effect, although I did see that Fett was working on one that was accurate to the Acolyte, so I'd be interested to check that out when it is on the site. Back to green.
My father's destiny is my own.
So this is the one that will be default red. I think I was messing with it, which is why it's green. Now it's the color it should be. Lightning. And then, of course, for any hilt that you're not using, or any blade style that you're not using color change direct for, that hold power or the hold aux press power won't change it to a specific color. It'll just go into color change mode.
I'm saying that I want you to let go of your anger before it destroys you.
So I'll kind of show this and that. So you can kind of change the colors. With that function.
It's time for the Jedi to end.
And with that, we are all the way back around. Go ahead and showcase a couple of these with the prions with the blade. Twist off and on.
I'm Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight and friend to Captain Solo.
I can't kill my own father. I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
And of course, the music here is the throne room as well.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
A choice to be better. The Empire's here. What I sensed was true. There must be something special about this place. Are you a Jedi?
I am.
Are you a Jedi?
I am. Come, little one.
He doesn't want to go with you.
He wants your permission, Force, but talent without training is nothing. I will give my life to protect the child, but he will not be safe until he masters his abilities.
So that is the basics of this hilt. It's pretty much like any other Luke hilt that I have blade styles on. I like to have them all kind of in that timeline order, but I really like having the Kyber bleed function. I think that's really cool, and it's not very often that you get a chance to do that with a Luke font, because that's not really what he's known for. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to having the blade out and wrap up. Thanks everyone for tuning into this video. I hope that you enjoyed the breakdown of the Creepy Uncle install that I did. Again, the chassis was by Derek Galenis, and the install was by me. The fonts that were on here are by Kyberphonic, Kasith, and Wansith, as well as Ronin Sabers for the Dark Empire fonts. I highly recommend that you guys check all of those people out. They all make great work. The hilt is designed by Denis Lukyanov. It was sold by Saber Bay and KR Sabers and maybe some others as well. This is the run that was the second most recent run, which is my favorite in the way that it looks. And I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you.